Milan community, good morning. My name is Jesse Hoskins. I'm a teacher at the high school and the head football coach. My number one male draft pick is here with us today, Tristan Hines. If you don't know Tristan Hines, then you must have a house in another town, because this man for the past 4 years has been a star on many a sports stage, football field, basketball court, on the track. He earned a full ride scholarship to Eastern Michigan University, and he's with us today to get grilled by his old coach. So Tristan, welcome.
What is going on?
Good to see you, man.
Great to see you.
I hardly recognize you with the long hair on the sides, with all this facial hair.
Oh, man.
You're like a new guy.
I just need a haircut. That's what I do.
I like it. Awesome. So I've got some questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, sweet. So I don't know if everybody knows, but actually during football season, you injured your shoulder and you played through it, finished the season, had a remarkable year, record-setting year, played some basketball games, but then had to get shoulder surgery. Give us the update on where you're at in your recovery right now.
Right. I have I tore my labrum in my shoulder. And so now I have so it took I was in a sling for 6 weeks. I couldn't move my arm. So I had to sleep in my sling, with my arm straight out for 6 weeks, and it was trash to sleep. I had to sleep in a recliner for I didn't get a good sleep for a while. And that was in January. So, but now it's it's probably 90%. I probably can't hit people, but I have full range of motion now, so I can run and do all the good stuff.
Good. So it's getting better. You can sprint, you can catch passes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just probably can't tackle nobody. That's just not going to tackle nobody. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, good. No tackling anybody in quarantine, so that's okay. You recover.
Yeah.
Good, man. So what has your training been like? You're supposed to report here in June, right, to Eastern to start doing official work with the team. Saw yesterday they released that the NCAA is allowing voluntary activities starting June 1st for football and men's and women's basketball. So that's good news for you. What have you been doing lately to get ready to report to camp?
Since in the weight rooms, I've just been doing a whole bunch of push-ups. I haven't done this much push-ups since 8th grade, and sit-ups too. But now,
where'd he go? Good. So where we left off was you were telling me what you were doing for training.
Oh yeah. So I just do a lot of body workouts, and now I've been going to the field twice a day. The first time I go, the last week, I've been at my mom's the last week since Friday. So in Brighton, and they have a nice turf field, so I go up there every day. And the first time I go, I just do strictly running and sprints, 100 yards, and then I work on 40s and all that stuff. And then the second time I go, which is later in the day, I just do a whole bunch of backpedaling drills and stuff to try to get my footwork right because I'm playing safety. So
yeah. I know that's one crazy thing about you going to Eastern is, for us, you never came off the field, but at EMU, you'll only be playing one side of the ball. So for the first time in your career, you'll be able to focus on one set of skills that'll be a little different.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So what is the outlook for your freshman year? I mean, I know there's a lot. You don't even know
the outlook.
What would be your goals to accomplish?
The outlook? What do I want to do? Or
well, I just mean you're going in as a freshman. What are your goals? Not for your whole career. I think that's too far off to really think about. But just going in June, from now until 2021. What do you hope to accomplish at Eastern?
I hope to get on the field next year as a freshman, as a true freshman. And maybe not, I don't really want a redshirt, but I hopefully I don't redshirt. Actually get in the games and stuff, get on and play. But I just got to start learning everything fast, and that's really what I'm gonna do. Just try to play next year. Because a lot of people probably don't expect it, so I just want to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are you planning on studying at Eastern?
Either criminal justice or business management or childhood education.
Childhood education.
Yeah,
That's interesting. We've never talked about that. Maybe be a teacher?
childhood. If I was probably elementary school teacher because I it's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Very good. All right. So, kind of staying on the same path, but switching gears a little bit. Tell me why you love football. It's not a simple question, not an easy answer. Why do you love
Yeah.
football? What about football allows you to give so much of yourself to it?
Well, when I was younger, I don't know. It was like something that I always wanted to do. Like even if it'd be like 5 degrees out, and me and my brother would still want to go out and throw the football, like in the middle of January, or I don't know. It just brought a lot of fun. And then as I got older, I just kept getting better. So I'm like, okay, like this is even more fun because now I'm like one of the better players. And so I don't know. And then it might sound cliche, but then like being around everybody on the team, and like you see them in school and stuff, and it's like you know them really like real well, and it's like you just have that click like where you know everybody on that team real well, like, and you wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the year. You're like a guy like somebody who they have completely different hobbies and they don't like you're completely different people, but like y'all are still real close because like just because of football because like y'all spend so much time together, and so you build a whole bunch of relationships. Besides that, I just have fun playing it. Like I like going to practice. I just like being around it overall.
Good, good. Yeah, and no doubt about it, man. There's no substitute for being on a team. You really get to know people. You get to know your teammates. Like there's nowhere to hide. Everybody
Yeah,
will critique the same, yell at the same, praise the same. It's
yeah,
raw and it's real, and that there's no
it,
substitute for that.
it's
Cool.
real.
So I want you to tell me a couple sports stories. Okay. First story I want you to tell me is a great moment in your football career. Now you had lots of great moments. We were all fortunate to be there for them. But tell me
Hmm.
what stands out in your mind as a great moment in your career.
Okay, the great moment is this year. It was we were down against SM. No, yeah, we were down. Weren't we down against SMCC? Yeah, we were down.
Yeah,
We were down.
yeah, we were down.
It was
We were
like
down.
three,
Well,
4 minutes,
we
like
were down by
like 14.
one.
But
We were down by one,
yeah, we
right?
down by
Because well, I mean, yeah, we were down
yeah,
before
we
that.
were down
We
by
were
one,
down by one because we scored and I went for two,
and
and
we
we didn't
missed it.
get it. So I'm like, whatever. We're gonna have to score again anyway. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so it was the last drive. We were going down, and you were like, I don't know, you just hugged me or something. You were like, go win this game. And so then we went down. It was fourth down, threw the long pass to Dylan Lorette. Dylan caught it. I was like, okay, we're about to, okay, we got it in the back because it was 4th and 5 at like
yeah,
our 40,
fourth and
our
five.
40, at like our 40. So I'm like, okay, we don't get this. Like the game's over because they run the T. So then we got it, and then we go down, and then it's like I probably ran in like a 10-yard touchdown or something like that. And then that was probably the biggest moment, just because like I knew SMCC was real good, and I knew they were probably going to be real good. Like I knew they were probably going to go to states regardless, and so I
Yeah,
knew that it would be a good team, a good win. And so that was probably the biggest moment because it was like senior year and like a defining drive because it was like against one of the best teams in the state.
yeah, yeah. And they just for everybody, if people don't know, they went on to win the state title in their division. They were an awesome team. They lost one game this year, and it was to us. But the cool point you made about that story is that you were a great runner, but who would have expected on 4th and 5 for us to throw a stop and go,
The
and put the
Dylan,
ball over
yeah, no
your
one
hands
would have
and
thought it.
pass it. And so credit to you for making that play. And we should give a shout out to Dylan Lorette as well.
D. Lorette.
I'm telling you, as a junior, who would have thought we would go
Yeah.
to Dylan Lorette on a huge fourth down play? And he's one of those dudes that worked his butt off, and
Real.
we had confidence in him, and he made an awesome play. So that's the great thing about Milan football and high school athletics as a whole, man. Your senior year, you better step up because you're going to be counted on. So
Yeah,
that's a
for real.
great example, great story.
Shout out Dylan Ray.
That's right. Okay, next story. I want you to tell me about somebody who has inspired you. Now, this doesn't have to be football. It can be, any situation you want. I know it's kind of a broad question, but tell me about somebody who has inspired you in your life.
Inspired me. Well, there's probably two main people that aren't just like celebrities. Well, in terms of celebrities, I'd say like Charles Woodson, just because like he's been like my favorite player since I was like 8. But
Mhm.
probably one of the people that inspired me is Coach Ray Anderson. When I was like in 4th grade, he got me introduced and like playing outside of my island. So like I've been playing like even basketball and a little bit of football, like 7th grade, I think. Just been playing outside of my island. So like I would see other competition, like play against teams from like Detroit and stuff. So I was just used to playing against like guys who I wasn't used to playing here in my island. And so I would go out and play them, and then so he helped me a lot, and he inspired me to want to like be better, because like the people on our teams were real good, like pretty good athletes, and I'm like, okay, I want to be as good as them. So and then Coach Ray, he would tell stories and stuff, and he went to Milan too. So then I was like,
Mhm.
all right, I want to be. So he inspired me a lot, for sure, for sure.
That's cool. Funny story off of that. So when I was a little kid, my dad, when I was in second grade, my dad actually was a student teacher for Mr. Gephardt, who used to teach history here in Milan. And, obviously my dad had worked in a different career before that, but he went back to school and got
Yeah,
his teaching degree. And so I was around the high schoolers all the time from, starting at a young age. And I remember hanging out with EJ Bates and Ray Anderson in the
man.
gym, like playing basketball. And that's just what I did. So it's so funny now talking to Ray, just because he knew me back when I was just a little tiger, and now his kids are in high school, and him
Yeah,
having
right. They're all in high school.
you.
Yeah,
It's crazy how the circle keeps going.
yeah, for real.
Cool. So my last kind of story for you to tell question is, when did you know that you were going to be a pretty good football player? What was the moment when you were like, you know what, I'm a little different than your average person here on the field? When was that for you?
Probably, well, average. Well, it's probably like 3rd grade, because I didn't play offense. I was strictly just on defense. I was like an outside linebacker, and I was just good at I would always just dive at everyone's legs, and they wouldn't get out of the tackles. I was just always good. I was just always a tackler. I don't know. I just always thought I was good. I knew I was going to be good. And then the next year in 4th grade, I started playing offense, but I played with the 5th and 6th graders, and I was only in 4th grade. So that's how I knew. Around then, I was like, okay, I'll probably be. Because then once I come back to playing with like Evan and the people in our grade, I'm like, okay, I should be ahead or just as or the best out of them, because like Evan played up too, but like everyone usually just played at the 4th grade level, but me and Evan, like, we played up, so like I just thought like that could help a lot, and so then around then is probably when I thought I could be pretty good.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So switching gears a little bit here. Obviously we've been in quarantine for a while, and it's been a really goofy senior year for
Right.
you, because
Yeah.
school gets you have to go through your surgery during basketball, then school gets canceled, and you miss things like your senior prom and
Yeah.
class night and all, track season, all of these things. How has this been for you? Like, what is the mindset of a graduating senior going through all of this? Can you just kind of share with
Well,
me your thoughts?
well, for me, prom wasn't that as serious, but I can see why people would definitely be upset about their senior prom and stuff. It's definitely a big deal, but for me, it wasn't that big of a deal, just because like I'm not that big on stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
mean, I can see why people definitely are upset, and they wanted to actually, well, they want to walk the stage and stuff. I don't know if we're gonna do all that, but at first my mindset was I'm gonna play a whole bunch of video games until and stay up all night until that lifestyle gets boring, old. So that lifestyle got boring and old, and then I got cleared for my shoulders. So now it's just strictly been like just trying to work out and eat right, use all this time. But before that, like the first month when they first called it off, it was just strictly have fun and enjoy it. Because this is probably the last time I'll get a full month to not do a thing. So that's how my mindset was. I was just like, all right, I'm just play the game, stay up till 4 in the morning with my friends all night, wake up at 3 or 2, and then after that. But then after it got cleared, I was like, all right, it's time to get serious. So you see, I'm up early. I'm up early right now. I wouldn't have been up this early like in March.
Sure, sure. How do you think how do you think it's affected your mental health to get back on schedule? I mean, like you said, it was probably fun for a little while to stay up
Okay.
late, play video games, but how has it affected your mindset to get back to training and be on a schedule and be healthier? Can you speak to that a little bit?
I mean, it's just like a lot because like all my time now goes into that. I'm not worried about like school or nothing. So like all my time is like, okay, what am I gonna eat? When am I gonna work out? And then, I mean, I've gotten into even reading some more of the Bible now, and which is something that I've never even done really like in depth. But now, like, I got a friend named Roderick, and he's really got me introduced into it real a lot, and like reading in between the lines and stuff. So I've definitely had time to work on that too. So I mean, it was a blessing in disguise. I think this quarantine. I mean, the first month was rough. It wasn't rough. It was fun, but since then, I've just been trying to be more mature and just better myself as a whole.
Good, good. Yeah, good to hear reading the Bible. Pastor Doug drove by the other day and we were talking a little bit and said you and him had a little chat and
Yeah, we did.
you were getting into stuff a little more, and that's
Yeah,
awesome, man. It's cool. Right when this thing kind of went down, and people say crazy things like, "Oh, it's the end of the world" and all of that. I immediately picked up my Bible and read through Revelations, and it kind of makes you reanalyze some of those things you've looked at in the past, but you look at them a little closer when you're in this kind of situation.
shit.
Um, cool. All right, trivia time. Few trivia questions. Want to find out
What
what
about you?
Tristan really enjoys.
Okay.
So, favorite book. What is the
Oh,
favorite book
the
you've ever
great,
read?
the Great
Huh?
Gatsby. The
The
Great
Great
Gatsby.
Gatsby. Why?
The
So
Great.
tell me about it.
You said what's so good about it?
Well, no, tell me when. So when on
I
earth
don't
would you
know.
have read The Great Gatsby?
Oh, I read it in 10th grade English when you were the teacher, and I think the only reason it was so good because I've talked to even my family members around it, and they're like, "Oh, it's so boring." Like my granny thinks it's boring. And I'm like, okay, I can see how it's boring, but like you went in depth with it. Like you made us think. You made us think where no one would have. Like if I read that book by itself, yeah, it probably would have been boring and trash. But like now I can probably reread it and just want to keep reading it just because now I understand how Daisy is. You know what I'm saying? But you wouldn't have understood that like just reading it by yourself once, like the in-depth stuff with it.
Sure.
So like you made it good. So like now I can probably reread that book anytime and understand like, okay, like Gatsby's trying to get with Daisy and Tom is, you know what I'm saying? Like Tom is, he doesn't like Gatsby, stuff like that. Like I wouldn't, the like, I don't know, it's just, you can just understand it better when you read it aloud.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
probably my favorite.
That's the awesome thing about literature, man, is once you dig deep into it and break it down and discuss the meanings, it's all
Yeah.
so interesting. That's what I
Yeah.
try to stress to all you guys is that there's almost nothing boring you can read because there's always so much to dig into it and find out about it. So, hey, I'm telling you what, I'm just glad you were awake during that class. That makes me happy. What
The books are good.
Good, man. Good. What is your favorite TV show?
TV show? I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna say it was Boy Meets World for a while, but I'm gonna go with lately. I'm gonna go with the originals. It's about Maxine. She probably knows what it is, but it's about vampires. There is Klaus Michelson. You know what I'm saying? The Michelson family. There's like three. There's a spin-off. The Vampire Diaries was the original one. The originals was a spin-off, but I like the originals better because like they're the original vampires. They're the strongest. They're 1,000 years old. And then Klaus had a daughter, and then she has a show now called Legacies. I'm watching that right now. But I don't know. I would say the originals because Klaus is the strongest person on earth. So like he's an animal. He's a hybrid. He's a mixture of a vampire and a werewolf. He's just no one else is that except his daughter. His daughter's a witch, a werewolf, and a vampire though. But Klaus is like the strongest. He's the strongest. So like yeah, he's an animal.
Sounds intense. I've never heard of it, so
It is intense.
now might have to look into it. What's your favorite movie of all time? I know it's hard to maybe pick a favorite. What's your top couple movies?
I'd probably say Above the Rim with Tupac and Dwayne Martin and what's his name, Marlon Wayans. That's one of my favorite. I'll probably say Back to the Future, the trios. I like Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly. That was probably one of those. Are probably my favorite. That's probably the favorite trio. My favorite trio, and then probably Paid in Full.
Painful.
It's just a solid movie overall.
Funny. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Probably. I don't know. I like all food, but if I had to be just cliche, I'd probably just say I could eat a nice hamburger anytime. Or like a rare hamburger.
Okay. If you had a choice between ordering a steak or a hamburger, what would you order?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the hamburger just because, like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably go with the hamburger. I feel like there's more flavor in it. I feel like steak is just it's too meat. And the steak is good, but like I just feel like there's more flavor in the hamburger.
Buddy, I'm telling you, people are probably going to criticize us for saying this, but I go to a steak place, and I mean, believe me, if you're going to have like a top-notch steak, that's special. But the majority of the time, I would rather get a really good cheeseburger than a really good steak.
Yeah, dude, I like the way you can hold them.
You better not hold a steak. So yeah, no doubt about that. Okay. All right. What are my kids' names, Tristan Hines?
Hank, Hamilton, and Harper.
What are their full names? Do you know all three, their full names, including middle names?
I think Hank's is David. Is it David?
Yeah.
Hank,
What's his
David,
middle name?
Oh no, that's his real. I forgot. Wait, isn't Hank's real name David?
Yeah. What's his middle name?
Yeah, then I don't know his real name because I just figured out. You told me like I just figured out like that his real name was not even Hank. So I think his middle name is Hank. So I think it's
Hank is short for Henry.
Oh, so it's David Henry.
You got it.
Okay, yeah, because I just figured out. Hamilton is Hamilton. Hamilton. Yeah, I don't know Hamilton.
Hamilton Russell. Yeah.
See, I haven't even heard that.
So my dad's full name was David Russell Hoskins. So we got the David in there for Hank as his first name, and then we have the Russells, the middle name for Hamilton. So kind of cool. Got them both in there. So what about the third, the newbie?
Harper is probably. I'm gonna say Elizabeth or Lynn. I don't know, Lynn or something like that.
Hey, I'll give you a clue. Think about freshman English, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, Gladys. No.
Gladys. I like the sound of that. But who's the author of To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh, what's her name? I forget her name. I don't know. I forgot her name.
Harper. What was her last name?
Yeah, I don't know. I forget.
So Harper's full name is Harper Lee, because Lee is Tanya's middle name, my mom's middle name, Tanya's mom's middle name. So it works for
all of their middle name?
Yeah, yep. But Tanya and her mom spell it Lea. So we went with that spelling just because it's a little different. And then she actually has two middle names, Lee, and then Murray. Murray is my grandma Weaver's maiden name,
Okay.
which my mom had a close relationship with them, and so we wanted to
Yeah.
go with two middle names. So she's got
She's
the
got
old
two middle names.
four banger, full name, full name. All
Dang.
right. Well, I know you know my children well. I wanted to see how
Yeah.
well you knew the names.
Yeah, I just figured out Hank's real name was David. Like I was shook off that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was shook.
Okay. My final question for you, and this is going to be my final question to everybody I'm able to interview if they choose to allow me to keep doing this. Our football motto this past year, and something that's going to carry over to the future, is to act like a Big Red. And ACT is an acronym. What does it stand for, Tristan Hines?
Accountability, community, and toughness.
That's right. Accountability, community, and toughness. And the community part of it is so important to us because Milan is a small town, a close-knit town. We have great tradition. People support us. Something we talk about in football all the time is if you do the right thing, if you work hard, then people want to support you and they'll do anything to support you. But if you're not doing the right things, then it doesn't work. Okay. People will not support you. People will be critical of you and probably deservedly so. So I want you, as my last question to you, to tell me what it means to, or what it has meant to you to be a part of the Milan community as it is associated with football in school, what the Milan community has meant to you.
Well, I like it because, like you said, everyone knows each other. So like, I mean, I'm at the grocery store. Everyone's like, good game, or I'm with a friend. They're like, oh, we saw you, or I'm out. Some little kids like, I'll be in my car, and some little kids when they just get out of school at the middle school, and then they'll be yelling my name and stuff like that. Me and Kendrick. So like, I don't know. I just like it's like a real. It's not like a bigger city, so like there's not 8 different 20 different high schools. It's like everyone they go to the games on Friday, and it's just real close. So it's just very very tight knit, and I feel like everyone cares about each other for the most part, and everyone's real close. So I like it. I enjoy it better instead of being in a high school, in a school where there's like 20 different high schools in that city, just because you're more special in that one in Milan, just because everyone is just Milan.
Sure. Did you feel more pressure because of that? Or
No,
did it give you comfort to know that, all eyes were on you and people were pulling for you?
it gave me more comfort. I didn't really see it as pressure because it wasn't like it wasn't like a test where I didn't know the material, or like I didn't. It wasn't like I didn't know it going in. And football is like something I've been doing the whole life. Same with other sports. So like, it wasn't really pressure. It just felt good to know people were behind you. It was more like, okay, now like more people are recognizing, like now I want to even go even harder. So like it wasn't pressure.
Great. Great. Awesome. Well, you're a special young man. I know that. I know you're special because of how you treat my children and how you conduct yourself in school. And those are the things that make me the most proud of you. And I'm really excited for this next chapter of your life, man. It's cool that the community got to know you and see what you were capable of. And hopefully this same Milan community will be behind you about 10 miles down the road in Ypsilanti
Yep.
at Eastern Michigan, man. You'll have to go there and do us all proud.
Right.
Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, our maiden voyage, first interview. Hopefully we did okay.
Yeah.
Thank
30
you for
minutes.
being a part of it. And
No doubt.
and I will talk to you soon. All right, brother.
All right.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you.